Those kids should have brought money from home if they wanted to eat. Those words hang in the air of Providence Municipal Court like poison. The woman who said them sits in the defendant's chair, wearing a cream-colored Chanel blazer and pearl earrings that probably cost more than a teacher's monthly salary. Her name is Principal Victoria Hartwell. She's 47 years old. Her hair is styled perfectly. Her nails are freshly manicured. She looks like she just stepped out of a spa. But those words, those terrible words, they came from her mouth. And they're about children, hungry children. If you believe that people who hurt kids should face real consequences, you'll want to see what happens next. Judge Frank Caprio sits behind the bench. His face is calm, but his eyes are sharp. He's been a judge for over 30 years. He's seen thousands of cases. But this one is different. This one involves children who went hungry while their principal bought designer handbags. The bailiff stands near the door. His jaw is tight. Even he looks angry. And bailiffs see terrible things every day. The courtroom is packed. Parents fill every seat. Some are crying. Some look furious. A woman in the front row holds a photo of her daughter. The little girl in the picture looks thin. Too thin. Case number 2025, CF 84632, the bailiff announces. His voice is hard. The State of Rhode Island versus Victoria and Hartwell. Charges of embezzlement, fraud, and theft of public funds. Victoria sits up straighter. She smooths her blazer. Like this is a business meeting. Like she's about to negotiate a deal. Judge Caprio looks at the papers in front of him. He reads slowly. His eyebrows rise. Then rise more. Finally, he looks up. Ms. Hartwell, he says, do you understand the charges against you? I do, Your Honor. Her voice is smooth, confident. And I think there's been a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. She called stealing $2 million from children a misunderstanding. A man in the gallery stands up. Are you kidding me? He shouts. The bailiff moves quickly. Sir, please sit down. The man sits, but his hands are shaking. His face is red. Judge Caprio holds up one hand. I understand emotions are high, but we will have order in this courtroom. He looks back at Victoria. Ms. Hartwell, you were the principal of Riverside Elementary School for 8 years. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. And during those 8 years, you managed the school lunch program? Among other responsibilities, yes. Among other responsibilities. Like it was just another checkbox on her to-do list. Like feeding hungry kids was boring paperwork. The prosecutor stands. Her name is Angela Chun. She's 34 years old, and she looks ready for battle. She's been working on this case for 6 months. She knows every detail, every stolen dollar, every hungry child. Your Honor, Angela says, may I present the evidence? Please proceed. Angela walks to a table. On it sits a laptop and stacks of papers. She opens the laptop. An image appears on the screen at the front of the courtroom. It's a bank statement. Victoria Hartwell's personal bank account. Your Honor, the defendant's salary as principal was $87,000 per year. That's public record. Angela clicks a button. Numbers appear on the screen. But over the past 8 years, deposits totaling $2.3 million appeared in her personal account. Money that came directly from the school lunch fund. Gasps fill the room. Even though everyone knows why they're here, seeing the actual number makes it real. $2 million. From lunch money. From funds meant to feed children. Victoria's face doesn't change. She just sits there. Calm. Like Angela is reading the weather forecast. How did she do it? Judge Caprio asks. Angela clicks again. More documents appear. The school district provides funds for free and reduced-price lunches. Federal money. State money. It goes into a dedicated account. The principal has access to approve purchases and pay vendors. And Ms. Hartwell. She created fake vendors. Fake food companies that didn't exist. She'd approve payments to these companies. The checks went to P.O. boxes she controlled. Then she deposited the money into her personal account. Another click. Photos appear. Screenshots from Victoria's social media accounts. A vacation in Bali. Victoria on a beach wearing a designer bikini and holding a cocktail. A new Mercedes in her driveway. The price tag still visible in the window. $89,000. A walk-in closet filled with designer clothes. Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton. The kind of closet you see in celebrity magazines. All purchased while children at her school went hungry. Your Honor, Angela continues, I'd like to call our first witness. Maria Santos. A woman stands from the gallery. She's maybe 35 years old. She wears a Target employee uniform. Her name tag is still pinned to her red shirt. She walks to the witness stand. Her hands tremble. The bailiff swears her in. She sits down. Ms. Santos, Angela says gently, can you tell the court about your daughter? Maria's eyes fill with tears. Her name is Isabella. She's 9 years old. She goes to Riverside Elementary. And does Isabella qualify for free lunch? Yes. We don't have much money. I work at Target. My husband works construction. But it's not always steady. The free lunch program, it's... Her voice breaks. It's important to us. Angela waits. Gives her time. What happened last year? Isabella started coming home hungry. Every day. She'd eat everything in the house. I couldn't figure it out. She was getting lunch at school, right? That's what I thought. What did you learn? Maria wipes her eyes. I went to the school. I asked the cafeteria ladies what was going on. They looked so sad. They told me there wasn't enough food. The lunch fund was supposed to cover meals for 340 kids. But there was only enough food for maybe 200. So what happened to kids like Isabella? They got whatever was left. Sometimes it was just a slice of bread. Maybe some carrots. One day Isabella came home and told me lunch was 3 crackers and an apple slice. Maria's voice rises. 3 crackers. For a growing child. The courtroom is silent. You can hear people breathing. Ms. Santos, Angela says, did you know where the lunch money was going? Not until the police came to school 6 months ago. Not until they arrested her. Maria points at Victoria. Her finger shakes. She was driving a Mercedes, wearing jewelry that cost more than my car, and my daughter was eating crackers for lunch. Judge Caprio leans forward. Ms. Hartwell, do you have anything to say to Ms. Santos? Victoria finally shows emotion. She rolls her eyes. Actually rolls her eyes. Your Honor, she says, I manage the school budget. I had expenses. The school needed things. And honestly, if parents can't afford to feed their children, maybe they shouldn't. Stop. Judge Caprio's voice cuts through the courtroom like a knife. Stop talking right now. But Victoria doesn't stop. She's been in charge for so long. She's used to people listening to her. Used to being the authority. These families receive government assistance, she continues. Food stamps. Housing vouchers. They have resources. If their children are hungry, that's a parenting problem, not a school funding problem. The courtroom explodes. Parents jump to their feet. Voices shout. The bailiff raises his hands. Order. Judge Caprio's voice booms. Order in this court. Slowly, people sit down. But the anger remains. It fills the air like smoke. Angela walks back to her table. She picks up another folder. Your Honor, I have more evidence. Continue. These are statements from cafeteria workers at Riverside Elementary. All 3 staff members reported the shortage to Ms. Hartwell multiple times over 8 years. They begged her to increase the food budget. She refused every time. One worker, Helen Rodriguez, was fired when she threatened to go to the school board. Angela hands the papers to Judge Caprio. He reads them. His face darkens with each page. There's more, Angela says. She clicks the laptop again. Text messages appear on the screen. These are texts between Ms. Hartwell and her sister. Judge Caprio reads out loud. Text from Victoria to her sister Jennifer, dated March 15th last year. Just approved another fake invoice. $15,000 this time. Thinking of getting that Burberry coat we saw. Response from Jennifer. Won't you get caught? Victoria's response. Who's going to check? Nobody pays attention to lunch money. The room goes quiet again. Even the crying stops. Nobody pays attention to lunch money. But lunch money matters. It matters to 9-year-old Isabella Santos, who ate 3 crackers for lunch. It matters to the 340 families who trusted the school to feed their children. It matters to every parent working 2 jobs and counting on that free lunch program. Your Honor, Angela says, we also have security footage from the school. A video plays on the screen. It's lunchtime at Riverside Elementary. The cafeteria is full of children. They're loud, laughing, being kids. They line up for food. The first child reaches the front. The cafeteria worker looks sad. She puts a small scoop of pasta on the tray. A few baby carrots. No fruit. No milk. No protein. The child looks at the tray. You can see the disappointment on his face. He's maybe 7 years old. He walks away slowly. The next child. Even less food. The pasta is running out. By the time the 10th child reaches the front, there's almost nothing left. The cafeteria worker spreads her hands. Apologizes. Gives the child an apple and 2 cookies. Then the camera angle changes. It shows Victoria Hartwell's office. Through the window, you can see her sitting at her desk. She's eating lunch. A full meal from a nice restaurant. There's a salad, a sandwich, soup, breadsticks. She eats slowly, checking her phone between bites. While children down the hall go hungry. Turn it off, Judge Caprio says quietly. Angela stops the video. Judge Caprio looks at Victoria. Really looks at her. Ms. Hartwell, I need you to help me understand something. Those children were your responsibility. You were their principal. They trusted you. Victoria shrugs. Actually shrugs. Like he's asking about the weather. Your Honor, I ran that school efficiently. Test scores improved under my leadership. Graduation rates went up. The school budget balanced every year. Those are the metrics that matter. Not whether some kids had to skip seconds at lunch. Skip seconds? They weren't getting seconds. They weren't even getting full first portions. A woman in the gallery stands up. She's older. Maybe 60. Gray hair pulled back. Glasses. She wears a cardigan with a name tag. Helen Rodriguez. The cafeteria worker who was fired. That's a lie. Helen shouts. A lie. I worked in that cafeteria for 12 years. I watched children cry because they were hungry. I spent my own money buying crackers and granola bars to keep in my desk. I got fired for trying to help. The bailiff moves toward Helen, but Judge Caprio stops him. Let her speak. Helen's voice shakes. Every morning, I came in at 6 a.m. to start breakfast. Federal money pays for breakfast too. But the same thing happened. Not enough food. I had to water down the oatmeal to make it stretch. I cut the muffins into halves. Into quarters. Anything to feed more kids. She points at Victoria. And she knew. She knew because I told her. Every week I told her. And every week she said the budget was tight. That we had to make do. That I needed to be creative. But she wasn't being creative with the lunch fund, was she? Judge Caprio asks. No, sir. She was stealing it. While I was watering down oatmeal, she was buying designer purses. Judge Caprio nods slowly. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Please sit down. Helen sits. She's crying now. 12 years of watching children go hungry. 12 years of doing everything she could. And getting fired for it. Angela approaches the bench again. Your Honor, we have financial records showing exactly where the stolen money went. Caribbean cruises. Designer shopping sprees. A beach house in Cape Cod. Even plastic surgery. All while the school lunch program ran on fumes. Objection. Victoria's lawyer finally speaks. He's been quiet this whole time. His name is Marcus Webb. Expensive suit. Slick back hair. The kind of lawyer rich people hire when they're in trouble. Your Honor, my client's personal spending habits are not relevant to this case. Judge Caprio looks at him like he just said something in a foreign language. Not relevant. Mr. Webb, she stole lunch money from hungry children and spent it on vacations. How is that not relevant? The prosecution is trying to prejudice the court by. The prosecution is showing where stolen money went. That's called evidence, Mr. Webb. Sit down. Marcus Webb sits down. Fast. Victoria leans over and whispers to him. He shakes his head. Whispers back. She whispers again, more urgently. He shrugs. She sits back in her chair. Her face is red now. The calm mask is cracking. Your Honor, she says suddenly. Too loud. May I address the court? You may. Victoria stands. She smooths her blazer again. Takes a breath. Puts on a smile. The kind of fake smile principals use at PTA meetings. Your Honor, I dedicated 8 years to Riverside Elementary. 8 years of my life. I worked 60-hour weeks. I dealt with problem students. Difficult parents. Budget cuts from the district. I did everything I could to make that school successful. She pauses. Like she's expecting applause. Like this is a retirement speech, and people should be grateful. And yes, I made some financial decisions that may have been questionable. But I had expenses. Professional expenses. As principal, I needed to maintain a certain image. I attended conferences, meetings with superintendents, fundraising events. I couldn't show up looking like. She waves her hand vaguely at the gallery, at the parents in their work uniforms and regular clothes. I had to look professional. The silence that follows is heavy, thick, like someone dropped a boulder in the middle of the room. Judge Caprio's voice is soft when he speaks, dangerously soft. Ms. Hartwell, did you just say you needed to steal from hungry children so you could buy nice clothes for meetings? That's not what because that's exactly what it sounded like. You just told this court that your appearance was more important than feeding 340 children. Your Honor, I'm simply saying. And those parents in the gallery, the ones you just insulted with your hand gesture? They're the ones who work multiple jobs to keep their families fed. They're the ones who trusted you with their children. They're the ones who believed a free lunch program would help their kids get an education without going hungry. Victoria's face goes pale, then red, then pale again. She realizes her mistake. But it's too late. The words are out there. Victoria's knees buckle. She grabs the table for support. You will wear a cafeteria uniform. You will follow the directions of Helen Rodriguez, who I understand has been offered her job back. You will serve food, clean tables, wash dishes, mop floors, whatever needs to be done, and you will do it with a smile. Your Honor, her lawyer says desperately, this is cruel and unusual punishment. The Eighth Amendment. The Eighth Amendment prohibits cruel and unusual punishment. This is neither. Serving lunch is honest work. Work that you deemed beneath you while you stole from the people doing it. Now you get to experience it firsthand. Now you get to look into the faces of the children you hurt. Every single day. For 3 years. Judge Caprio leans forward. And here's the best part, Ms. Hartwell. Before you serve each child their lunch, you will look them in the eye and say these exact words. I'm sorry I stole your lunch money. You deserve to eat. Every child. Every day. 340 students. Those words will become part of your daily routine. Part of your life. And maybe, just maybe, after saying those words 204,000 times over 3 years, you'll actually start to mean them. Victoria is crying now. Real tears. Not delicate tears that preserve makeup. Ugly crying. Her carefully styled hair falls in her face. Her mascara runs. But wait, Judge Caprio says. There's more. Her head snaps up. Every month, you will attend a meeting with the parents of Riverside Elementary students. A face-to-face meeting. They will tell you how your theft affected their families. How their children went hungry. How they struggled to make up the difference. How they lost trust in the system. And you will listen. You will not defend yourself. You will not make excuses. You will sit there and listen to every word. And then you will thank them for sharing their story. The parents in the gallery are crying now too. But these are different tears. Relief. Vindication. Justice. Additionally, Judge Caprio continues, you will forfeit your pension. All of it. Every dollar you were supposed to receive for your 8 years as principal will go into the Riverside Elementary Lunch Fund. You will not profit from your time there. Not 1 cent. Victoria is shaking. Her whole body trembles. You will also be required to write a personal apology letter to each of the 340 families affected by your theft. Handwritten. Not typed. Not computer-generated. Your own hand. Your own words. Explaining what you did. Why it was wrong. And how you plan to make amends. These letters will be reviewed by the court to ensure they're genuine. If I detect any trace of justification or excuse-making, they will be rejected, and you will start over. Judge Caprio picks up his gavel, but he doesn't bang it yet. One more thing. After you complete your prison sentence and your community service, you will speak at schools across Rhode Island. Not as an educator, as a cautionary tale. You will tell your story to students. You will explain how privilege and entitlement led you to commit crimes. You will answer their questions honestly. You will do this for free. 20 schools per year for 5 years. 100 total presentations. This is your legacy now, Ms. Hartwell. You wanted to be remembered as a successful principal. Instead, you'll be remembered as the woman who stole lunch money from hungry children. He pauses, looks at her one more time. Do you have anything to say before I finalize this sentence? Victoria can barely speak. Your Honor, please. I can't. I can't serve lunch to those children. I can't face them every day. Please. I'll take more prison time. Anything else? Please. And that's when everyone understands. Prison would be easier for her. Hidden away from consequences. Not facing the people she hurt. Not looking into the eyes of hungry children. No, Judge Caprio says simply. You don't get to hide. You don't get to avoid the consequences of your actions. Those children will see you every day. They will watch you serve their food. They will hear you apologize. They will witness your transformation or your continued arrogance. Either way, they will know that actions have consequences. That's the lesson here. Not just for you, for them. He raises the gavel. This sentence is imposed by the authority of the state of Rhode Island, effective immediately. The gavel comes down. Bang. Bailiff, take Miss Hartwell into custody. She will begin serving her prison sentence today. The bailiff moves forward. He pulls out handcuffs. Victoria's eyes go wide. Wait, I thought I could go home first. I need to arrange things. I need to. You're going to prison, Ms. Hartwell. Right now. Today. You don't get to go home and pack a bag full of designer clothes. The bailiff puts the handcuffs on her wrists. Click, click. The sound echoes through the silent courtroom. Victoria's perfect hair hangs in her face. Her mascara has created black rivers down her cheeks. Her cream Chanel blazer has a dark sweat stain under the arms. The image of perfection has completely shattered. As the bailiff leads her toward the door, she passes the gallery. Maria Santos stands up. She holds the photo of her daughter higher, so Victoria has to see it. Has to look at the face of a child she starved. My daughter still has nightmares about being hungry, Maria says quietly. She hoards food now. Hides snacks in her backpack and under her bed. She's 9 years old and she's terrified of starving. Because of you. Victoria steps slow. She looks at the photo. Really looks at it. At Isabella's thin face. Her sad eyes. For just a moment, something changes in Victoria's expression. A crack in the wall. A glimpse of actual human emotion underneath the arrogance. I'm sorry, she whispers. So quiet that only Maria and the people nearby can hear. I'm so sorry. Maria nods. Just once. She doesn't forgive. She can't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But she acknowledges the apology. The bailiff keeps walking. Victoria disappears through the side door. Gone. No more designer clothes. No more luxury cars. No more beach house. Just an orange jumpsuit and a prison cell and 3 years to think about what she's done. Judge Caprio watches her go. Then he looks at the gallery. Before we adjourn, he says, I want to say something to all of you. To the parents, the children, the cafeteria workers, everyone affected by this case. The room is silent. Waiting. What happened at Riverside Elementary was a betrayal. A violation of trust. Ms. Hartwell was supposed to protect your children. Feed them. Educate them. Create a safe environment for learning. Instead, she stole from them. She prioritized her own wants over their basic needs. And that is unforgivable. He takes off his glasses. Rubs his eyes. Puts them back on. But here's what I want you to remember. The system worked. It took time. Too much time. And I'm sorry for that. But eventually someone noticed. Someone cared. Someone investigated. And justice was served. The system isn't perfect. People like Ms. Hartwell slip through sometimes. But there are also people like Helen Rodriguez who risk their jobs to help children. People like Maria Santos who speak up when something is wrong. People like the police officers and prosecutors who work these cases even when they don't make headlines. He looks at Helen Rodriguez. Ms. Rodriguez, I understand the school district has offered you your job back with a raise and formal apology for your wrongful termination. Is that correct? Helen nods. She's crying again. Good tears this time. And I understand they've also created a new position. Kitchen supervisor. With authority to order food directly and flag any budget concerns. You're being promoted to that position. Congratulations. You earned it. The courtroom applauds. Actual applause. Helen covers her face with her hands. 12 years of watching children go hungry. 12 years of doing everything she could. And finally recognition. Finally justice. To all the parents, Judge Caprio continues, your children will eat. The lunch fund has been replenished. The district has implemented new oversight procedures. Multiple people will now review the budget. Regular audits will be conducted. What happened to your children will not happen again. I promise you that. Maria Santos raises her hand, like she's in school. Your Honor, may I say something? Of course. Maria stands. She's still wearing her Target uniform, still holding her daughter's photo. Thank you. Just thank you. For 3 years, we've been fighting to get someone to pay attention, to care, to do something. And you did. You didn't just send her to prison. You made her face what she did. You made the punishment fit the crime. That means everything to us. Everything. Her voice breaks on the last word. She sits down quickly, buries her face in her hands. Other parents nod. Some reach over to pat her shoulder, to hold her hand. They're a community, bound together by trauma, by anger, by hunger, but also by survival, by strength, by the fight to protect their children. Judge Caprio smiles. It's a sad smile, but genuine. You're welcome, Ms. Santos. It's my job, and my honor. He picks up his papers, organizes them. This court is adjourned. Bang. The gavel comes down one final time. People start to stand, start to file out, but they move slowly. No one wants to leave yet. The moment is too big, too important. They linger in the aisles, hug each other, cry together, share relief and anger and satisfaction all mixed up together. Outside the courthouse, news cameras wait. Reporters shout questions, but the parents don't stop. They walk past the cameras, past the microphones. They have nothing to prove to the media, nothing to explain. The verdict speaks for itself. 6 months later, Riverside Elementary is different. Walk into the cafeteria, and you'll see it immediately. The lunch line moves smoothly. Every child gets a full tray. Protein, vegetables, fruit, milk, bread, real portions, enough food. And serving that food, wearing a hairnet and plastic gloves, is Victoria Hartwell. She looks different. Her designer clothes are gone. She wears a simple blue cafeteria uniform. Her hair is pulled back in a ponytail. No makeup, no jewelry, no expensive accessories. Just a middle-aged woman serving lunch. Helen Rodriguez supervises. She watches Victoria carefully, makes sure she follows procedures, makes sure she treats the children with respect. Next, Victoria calls. A little girl approaches. She's small, blonde hair in braids, maybe 7 years old. She holds out her tray. Victoria puts a scoop of mac and cheese on the tray, adds green beans, a dinner roll, sliced peaches, milk. The little girl's eyes get wide. That's all for me. Yes, honey, that's all for you. The whole thing. The whole thing. The little girl smiles, a huge smile, and walks away carefully balancing her very full tray. Victoria watches her go. Her expression is complicated. Shame, regret, but also something else. Something that might be understanding, might be growth. Next, she calls. Isabella Santos approaches. Maria's daughter. She's taller now, healthier. Her face has filled out. She doesn't look scared anymore. Victoria recognizes her. Her hands freeze for just a second. Then she continues serving. I'm sorry I stole your lunch money, she says quietly, looking Isabella in the eye. You deserve to eat. Isabella nods, takes her tray. I know, she says simply, and moves on. Those 2 words carry more weight than an entire speech. I know I deserve to eat. I know what you did was wrong. I know you're sorry. I know. Victoria serves the next child, and the next, and the next. 340 students, every day, saying the same words. I'm sorry I stole your lunch money. You deserve to eat. Some children ignore her. Some stare at her with hate. Some nod politely. Some ask questions. Why did you steal from us? And she has to answer. Has to explain her arrogance and her greed and her complete failure of responsibility. It's humiliating. It's exhausting. It's painful. Good. It should be. After lunch service ends, Victoria cleans. She wipes down tables, sweeps floors, loads the industrial dishwasher, takes out garbage bags that weigh more than designer purses ever did. Her back hurts. Her feet hurt. Her pride hurts most of all. Helen Rodriguez watches. You missed a spot, she says, pointing to a table in the corner. Victoria walks over, wipes it clean. Sorry. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to the kids who have to sit there. Sorry, Victoria says again. To the empty cafeteria. To the ghosts of hungry children. To herself. She works until 2 p.m. 7 hours of serving and cleaning and apologizing. Then she changes out of her uniform. Drives home. Not to the beach house. That's been sold. She lives in a small apartment now. 2 bedrooms. Basic furniture. No design or anything. She sits at her kitchen table. Opens a notebook. Starts writing. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Santos, she writes. I am writing to apologize for stealing from your daughter, Isabella. My actions caused her to go hungry. They caused her pain and fear. They violated your trust. There is no excuse for what I did. The letter takes 2 hours. She writes it by hand, crosses out sentences that sound too formal, too lawyer-like, too much like she's making excuses. Starts over 3 times before she gets it right. 1 letter down, 339 to go. At night, she lies in bed and stares at the ceiling. Thinks about the little girl who asked if the whole tray was really for her. Thinks about Isabella Santos saying, "I know." Thinks about Maria Santos's face when Victoria was led away in handcuffs. Sometimes she cries. Sometimes she's too tired to cry. Sometimes she just lies there, feeling the weight of what she's done pressing down on her chest like a boulder. This is her life now. Prison on weekdays. Community service on weekends. Letters at night. Facing her victims every single day. No escape. No hiding. No running away from consequences. 1 year passes. Then 2. Victoria's hands get rough from washing dishes. Her feet develop calluses from standing on concrete floors. Her hair goes gray. She doesn't bother dyeing it anymore. But something else changes too. Something deeper. It happens slowly. So slowly she doesn't notice at first. One day, a child drops her tray. Food everywhere. The little girl starts to cry. Before Helen can react, Victoria is there. She kneels down next to the crying child. "Hey, it's okay," Victoria says gently. "Accidents happen. Let's get you a new tray, all right?" She helps the girl up, cleans up the spilled food, gets her a new lunch, makes sure she's okay before returning to her station. Helen watches this. Nods slightly. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But acknowledgement. Acknowledgement that Victoria is trying. Actually trying. Another day, Victoria notices a boy who always takes extra napkins. Stuffs them in his pockets. She pulls Helen aside. "That kid in the red shirt. He takes napkins every day. I think maybe he's sneaking food home. Maybe his family needs help." Helen looks at her. Really looks at her. "You're right. I've noticed that too. Can we do something? Pack him extras? Make sure he has enough. I'll talk to the social worker. We'll figure it out." Helen pauses. "Good eye, Victoria." It's the first time Helen has used her first name. The first time she's acknowledged Victoria as anything other than a criminal doing mandatory service. Victoria blinks back tears. "Thank you." The monthly meetings with parents are brutal. They sit in a circle. Victoria listens as parents describe grocery shopping strategies to stretch their budgets. Kids crying because they're hungry. Working 3 jobs. Choosing between rent and food. Medical bills. Car repairs. The constant struggle of poverty. And through all of it, knowing that Victoria stole $2 million. $2 million that could have fed their children for years. Could have eased their burden. Could have made their lives just a little bit easier. Victoria doesn't defend herself. Doesn't make excuses. Just sits there and absorbs it all. Lets their anger and pain wash over her like a wave. Says, "I'm sorry," over and over until the words lose meaning. Until they become a prayer. A mantra. A meditation on guilt and responsibility. After the meetings, she goes home and writes more letters. The apologies get more detailed, more genuine, less focused on what she did, and more focused on how it affected them. Real empathy, not the fake kind you put in a corporate apology. 3 years pass. Victoria's sentence is complete. Her 2,000 hours of community service are finished. Her letters are all written and delivered. Her prison time is served. She's free. Legally free. She stands in front of Judge Caprio one last time. A review hearing. To determine if a suspended portion of her sentence will be enforced or waived. To see if she's changed. If she's learned. The courtroom is smaller this time. No crowds. Just Victoria, her lawyer, the prosecutor, and a few witnesses. Judge Caprio looks older. 3 years older. He's been doing this job for 36 years now. He's tired. But still sharp. Still paying attention. "Ms. Hartwell," he says, "you've completed the terms of your sentence. I've received reports from the prison. From Helen Rodriguez. From the parents you met with. From the school where you served. Tell me in your own words what you've learned." Victoria stands. She's nervous. Her hands shake. But she looks Judge Caprio in the eye. "Your Honor, 3 years ago I sat in that chair, and I was arrogant. I was entitled. I thought I deserved the money I stole because I worked hard. Because I had a difficult job. because I dealt with stress. I blamed the parents, the children, everyone except myself. She takes a breath. I was wrong. Completely wrong. I stole from hungry children. I deprived them of basic nutrition while I bought things I didn't need. I violated trust. I abused my position. I caused real harm to real people, children, families, an entire community. And I didn't care. I genuinely didn't care. Another breath. Deeper this time. But serving lunch every day for 3 years changed me. Looking into the faces of those children, seeing how excited they get about a full tray of food, watching them eat like it's the best meal they've ever had, understanding that for some of them, it is the best meal they've ever had. That school lunch is the only guaranteed meal they get. That broke something in me. Or fixed something. I'm not sure which. Judge Caprio listens. Doesn't interrupt. I met a girl named Sophia. She's 8 years old. She comes through the lunch line every day with this huge smile. She always says thank you. Always. And one day I asked her why she's always so happy. You know what she said? She said, because I get to eat here. And it's so good. And there's always enough. Always enough. Those were the words that killed me. Because there wasn't always enough. Because I took it. Because I stole always enough from her and 300 other kids. Victoria's voice cracks. But she keeps going. I wrote 340 apology letters. Do you know how many times I had to rewrite some of them? 10 times. 15 times. Because I kept making excuses. Kept trying to justify. Kept thinking maybe I wasn't that bad. But I was that bad. I was worse than that bad. I betrayed children. The most vulnerable people in our society. And for what? A beach house I barely used. Clothes I wore once. Things. Stupid, meaningless things. She wipes her eyes. Your Honor, I'll never work in education again. I understand that. I'll never be trusted with children. I understand that too. But I want to do something. I want to help. I've been thinking. I have a degree in education. I have experience running programs. What if I worked for a nonprofit? What if I helped organize food drives? Community meal programs? Something that actually helps instead of hurts? I don't want money. I don't need a salary. I just want to do something that matters. Something real. Judge Caprio leans back in his chair. Studies her. The silence stretches out. Ms. Rodriguez, he says finally. You've supervised Ms. Hartwell for 3 years. What's your assessment? Helen Rodriguez stands. She's wearing nice clothes today. A dress. Heels. Her gray hair is styled. She looks professional. Confident. Like the kitchen supervisor she is now. Your Honor, when Victoria first started, I hated her. I won't lie about that. I hated her for what she did. For getting me fired. For hurting those kids. I wanted her to suffer. I wanted her to fail. I hope she'd quit or get fired or violate her probation. Helen pauses. But she didn't quit. She showed up every day. Even when kids yelled at her. Even when parents confronted her in the cafeteria. Even when it was hard. And slowly I watched her change. Really change. Not fake change for the court. Real change. She started noticing things. Kids who needed extra help. Families who were struggling. She'd pull me aside with suggestions. Ideas for helping. She stopped thinking about herself and started thinking about them. Helen looks at Victoria. I don't forgive her. I might never forgive her. But I respect her effort. I respect that she tried to become better. And if she wants to help feed people for the rest of her life, I think that's appropriate. I think that's justice. Judge Caprio nods. Ms. Santos, you're here as well. Do you have anything to say? Maria Santos stands. She's wearing her Target uniform. She came straight from work. Isabella is with her. Taller now. Healthier. Smiling. Your Honor, Isabella wanted to come today. She wanted to speak. Judge Caprio looks at the girl. Isabella, would you like to say something? Isabella nods. She walks to the front. Stands next to her mother. Looks at Victoria. I remember being hungry, Isabella says. Her voice is small but clear. I remember my stomach hurting all the time. I remember being so happy when I got crackers because at least it was something. I remember thinking maybe I wasn't supposed to eat. Maybe I didn't deserve food. Victoria's face crumbles. Tears stream down her cheeks. But now I know that's not true, Isabella continues. I do deserve food. Every kid deserves food. And what you did was wrong. Really wrong. But... She pauses. Takes a breath. But I think you know that now. I think you're sorry. Really sorry. And I think you should help other kids, so they don't have to be hungry like I was. She walks over to Victoria, holds out her hand. Victoria stares at the hand. This child she starved. This little girl who hoarded food and had nightmares about hunger. Offering her hand, Victoria takes it, shakes it gently. Thank you, she whispers. Thank you for giving me a chance to do better. Isabella nods, returns to her mother's side. Judge Caprio clears his throat. He's not crying. He's a judge. He's professional. But his eyes are suspiciously shiny. Ms. Hartwell, I'm going to waive the remaining 5 years of your suspended sentence. You're free to move forward with your life. But I want to be clear. This doesn't erase what you did. It doesn't undo the harm. It doesn't make everything okay. It simply means you've completed your punishment and shown sufficient change to warrant a second chance. I understand, Your Honor. I'm also going to connect you with 3 nonprofit organizations that work on food insecurity. They're aware of your case. They're willing to interview you for volunteer positions. Not paid positions. Volunteer. You'll work for free. You'll help organize meal programs, food drives, community kitchens, whatever they need. And you'll do it knowing that you're trying to give back even a fraction of what you took. Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. And Ms. Hartwell, if I ever see you in my courtroom again for anything other than a parking ticket, the full weight of the law will come down on you like a hammer. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. You won't see me again. I promise. Judge Caprio bangs his gavel one final time. Case closed. Victoria walks out of the courthouse. No handcuffs this time. No bailiff. Just her. Free. She stands on the steps and looks at the sky. It's a nice day. Sunny. Warm. Spring air. Maria and Isabella walk past her. Then Maria stops. Turns back. Victoria, she says. It's the first time she's used her first name. Good luck. Victoria's throat tightens. Thank you. And Maria? I really am sorry. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make it right. I know, Maria says. The same words Isabella said in the lunch line. I know. They walk away. Mother and daughter. Hand in hand. Victoria watches them go. Then she walks to her car. The same small Honda she's been driving for 3 years. No Mercedes. No luxury. Just basic transportation. She drives to the first nonprofit on Judge Caprio's list. The Rhode Island Food Bank. Parks in the visitor lot. Takes a deep breath. Walks inside. I'm here about volunteer opportunities, she tells the receptionist. Great. Do you have experience with food programs? Victoria pauses, then answers honestly. Yes, but not good experience. I'm Victoria Hartwell, the woman from the news, the one who stole lunch money. The receptionist's eyes widen. Oh, hold on. She makes a phone call, whispers urgently. A few minutes later, a woman emerges. She's maybe 50 years old. Short gray hair, kind eyes but a firm jaw. I'm Patricia Chun, the volunteer coordinator. Judge Caprio called me about you. Yes, ma'am. Let's talk in my office. They sit. Patricia looks at Victoria carefully, studying her. Why do you want to volunteer here? Because I need to do something that matters. Something that helps instead of hurts. I stole from hungry children. I won't spend the rest of my life feeding hungry people. It won't make up for what I did. Nothing can make up for it, but it's a start. Patricia nods slowly. Our volunteers work hard. They sort food, pack boxes, load trucks. It's physical labor. It's not glamorous. You won't get recognition. You won't get praise. You'll just be one more person trying to make sure people don't go hungry. That's exactly what I want. Okay, let's start with a trial period. 2 shifts a week, 4 hours each. If you do well, we'll talk about more responsibility. But Victoria, if you mess this up, if you take advantage of this opportunity in any way, I will personally make sure you never volunteer anywhere in this state again. Are we clear? Crystal clear, ma'am. Good. Orientation is Tuesday at 9 a.m. Don't be late. I won't. Thank you. Thank you so much. Patricia stands. Offers her hand. Victoria shakes it. Everyone deserves a second chance, Patricia says. But only one. Don't waste it. I won't, Victoria promises. I won't. She leaves the food bank, sits in her car, puts her head on the steering wheel, and cries. Big, ugly, relieved tears. She has a purpose. A way forward. A chance to do something meaningful. The next Tuesday, Victoria shows up at 9 a.m. sharp. She wears jeans and a t-shirt. Practical clothes for physical work. Her hair is in a ponytail. No makeup. No jewelry. Just a middle-aged woman ready to work. The orientation includes 6 other volunteers. They're all ages. All backgrounds. Some are students doing service hours. Some are retirees. Some are people who were once food insecure themselves and want to give back. When Victoria introduces herself, she's honest. My name is Victoria. Some of you might recognize me from the news. I stole from a school lunch program. I served prison time. I'm here to try to do better. The room goes quiet. Then one of the older volunteers, a man named Robert, speaks up. We all got our stories. We all got things we're not proud of. You're here now. That's what matters. Let's get to work. And they do. Victoria spends 4 hours sorting canned goods. Green beans in one bin. Corn in another. Tomatoes in a third. Her back hurts. Her hands get dirty. It's repetitive and exhausting. It's also the most meaningful work she's done in years. At the end of the shift, Patricia checks her work. Good job. See you Thursday. Yes, ma'am. Thursday at 9. Victoria falls into a routine. Tuesday and Thursday at the food bank. Saturdays helping at a community meal program. Sundays visiting with her sister Jennifer, the only family member who still talks to her. Months pass. Then a year. Then 2 years. Victoria's life is simple now. Work. Volunteer. Sleep. Repeat. No vacations. No luxury purchases. No social media. Just quiet, meaningful days spent trying to balance the scales. One day, 5 years after her sentencing, Victoria is working at the community meal program. They serve hot dinners to anyone who needs them. Homeless people. Struggling families. Elderly folks on fixed incomes. No questions asked. No judgment. Victoria is serving mashed potatoes. Putting a scoop on each plate. Smiling. Making eye contact. Treating each person with dignity. A familiar face appears in line. Helen Rodriguez. The woman she got fired. The woman who supervised her community service. Helen, Victoria says, surprised. What are you doing here? I volunteer here on Sundays now, Helen says. Have been for a few months. You? Same. Tuesdays and Sundays. They stare at each other. Then Helen smiles. Not a big smile, but genuine. Looks like we're going to be working together again. Looks like it. Victoria hesitates. Helen, I never properly apologized to you. For getting you fired. For making your life harder. I know, Helen interrupts. I saw your apology. I got your letter. Multiple letters, actually. She pauses. And I saw you in that cafeteria every day for 3 years. I saw you try. That's worth something. So we're okay. We're okay. We'll never be friends. But we're okay. It's more than Victoria hoped for. More than she deserves. Thank you. They work side by side that day. 2 women who were once on opposite sides. Both now working toward the same goal. Feeding people. Helping people. Making a small difference in a big problem. After the shift ends, Victoria drives home. Her little apartment. Her simple life. She makes dinner. Watches TV. Goes to bed early. Before she sleeps, she thinks about Judge Caprio. About his words. About the sentence that changed her life. She thinks about Isabella Santos. About the handshake. About forgiveness she didn't earn but was given anyway. She thinks about Helen Rodriguez. About grudging respect. About working together despite history. She thinks about the 340 children she hurt. About 340 apology letters. About 3 years of saying, I'm sorry I stole your lunch money. You deserve to eat. And she thinks about tomorrow. Tuesday. The food bank. Sorting cans. Packing boxes. Helping people. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It won't make headlines or win awards. But it's honest. It's meaningful. It's right. Victoria Hartwell will never be a principal again. She'll never have authority over children. She'll never earn a 6-figure salary or drive a luxury car or own a beach house. But she'll get up every morning and go help feed hungry people. She'll work for free. She'll serve with humility. She'll spend the rest of her life trying to balance the cosmic scales. And maybe, just maybe, that's what justice looks like. Not just punishment. Not just prison. But transformation. Change. A person who did terrible things trying desperately to become better. trying to give back what was taken, trying to serve instead of steal. Money can buy many things: designer clothes, expensive cars, luxury vacations, all the things Victoria once thought mattered. But money can't buy back time, can't undo harm, can't erase the memory of hungry children eating crackers for lunch while their principal drove a Mercedes. And in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, money definitely cannot buy justice. Justice means facing the people you hurt, looking them in the eye, apologizing not just with words but with actions, spending 3 years serving lunch to children you starved, spending the rest of your life trying to feed people instead of stealing from them. That's justice. Real justice. The kind that changes people. The kind that heals communities. The kind that proves that everyone, no matter how privileged or arrogant, must answer for their actions. Victoria Hartwell learned that lesson the hard way. In handcuffs. In prison. In a cafeteria hairnet. Saying, "I'm sorry," 204,000 times until she finally meant it. She learned that children deserve to eat. That trust matters. That responsibility is real. That actions have consequences. That money doesn't make you better than anyone else. That the people serving lunch are just as valuable as the people running schools. These lessons came late. Too late for the children she hurt, but maybe not too late for her soul. And in a small apartment in Providence, Rhode Island, a woman who once stole $2 million sleeps peacefully for the first time in 8 years. Not because she's been forgiven. Not because she's earned redemption. But because she's finally doing the right thing. Finally serving instead of stealing. Finally helping instead of hurting. Finally understanding that the most important meal program in any school is the one that makes sure every child has enough to eat. Always enough. Those 2 words from 8-year-old Sophia. The words that broke through Victoria's arrogance and touched something human underneath. Always enough. That's what every child deserves. What every person deserves. What Victoria spent 8 years denying people while she indulged herself. But now she works to make it true. To make sure there's always enough. For everyone. No matter who they are. No matter how much money they have. No matter anything. That's the legacy of Victoria Hartwell now. Not the principal who stole lunch money, but the woman who spent the rest of her life trying to feed hungry people. Trying to make sure no child ever has to ask, "Is this whole tray really for me?" Yes. The whole tray is really for you. Always. Because you deserve to eat. Every child deserves to eat. Every person deserves to eat. That's justice. That's fairness. That's humanity. And that's the lesson Judge Frank Caprio taught in his courtroom one spring day when he sentenced a thief to serve the children she stole from. A perfect punishment. A meaningful sentence. A chance for transformation. And proof that the American justice system, when it works right, doesn't just punish crime. It creates change. It builds understanding. It makes people better. Not always. Not for everyone. But sometimes. For some people. And that has to be enough. Just like a full lunch tray has to be enough for hungry children. Just like a second chance has to be enough for people trying to change. Just like simple, honest work has to be enough for someone seeking redemption. Enough. Always enough. For everyone. That's the promise. That's the goal. That's what Victoria Hartwell will spend the rest of her life working toward. And somewhere in Rhode Island, in a school cafeteria, children line up for lunch. The trays are full. The portions are generous. There's always enough. And everyone eats.